High in the rugged mountains of Asia, there's an animal that's not just surviving, but powering entire communities. Meet the yak, a creature so tough it thrives at altitudes over 4,000 meters, where few others can. But yaks aren't just about strength. From providing meat, milk, and warm fur to being a lifeline for transportation, farming, and culture, yaks are at the heart of daily life for millions across the Himalayas, Mongolia, and beyond. In this video, we'll explore the incredible world of yak farming. The Tibetan yaks are primarily raised in several Asian countries like Nepal, India, Bhutan, China, Pakistan, Mongolia, and even parts of Siberia. These hardy animals thrive in the high-altitude regions of the Himalayas and beyond, where they're essential to the livelihoods of local communities. Did you know that yaks are animals that are full of surprises? One fun fact is that they can survive in extreme cold temperatures as low as -40 degrees Fahrenheit, thanks to their thick, shaggy coats. Not only are they built for the cold, but they can also climb steep mountain slopes with ease, making them perfect for navigating the rugged terrain of the Himalayas. Another interesting tidbit is that yaks have a surprisingly gentle and friendly nature, despite their large size. Plus, yaks have an incredible sense of smell, allowing them to detect danger from far away, like approaching predators. In these mountainous regions, people have developed various yak farming models to adapt to their harsh environments. One of the most common is free-range grazing, where yaks are allowed to roam freely across the open pasture. This model works well in the vast, rugged terrains of the Himalayas, Mongolia, and Siberia. Another model is semi-nomadic herding, where families move their yak herds between different grazing areas depending on the season. This model has been practiced for centuries, allowing the animals to find fresh pasture and avoid overgrazing in one area. In areas with limited land, such as parts of Bhutan or northern China, intensive yak farming is practiced in more controlled environments. In this model, yaks are raised in fenced-off areas or metal mesh enclosures to keep them in a specific area. The herds are often kept in closed pens or shelters, especially during the colder months, where they are protected from harsh weather conditions. This system helps protect the yaks from predators and diseases, which can be a concern in more open grazing systems. This model is particularly useful in regions where space is limited. Yak farming in these regions is not just about tradition and livelihood, it's also deeply woven into the cultural fabric of the local communities, especially among the Tibetan people. Yaks play an essential role in daily life, serving as transport animals for both people and goods. They are often used to carry heavy loads, making them indispensable for travel in mountainous areas. Beyond their practical uses, yaks hold a significant cultural role. They are central to many festivals and rituals, symbolizing strength, endurance, and prosperity. In Tibetan culture, yaks are seen as sacred animals, and their presence is celebrated in religious ceremonies and local festivities. Yaks mainly feed on natural grasses and herbs found in high-altitude pastures. However, during harsh weather or snowy days when grazing isn't possible, local people take special care to ensure the animals are still well fed. They collect and store dry grasses, hay, and barley husks, and sometimes even prepare nutritious feed mixtures to give the yaks inside their shelters. When yaks are allowed to graze in open pastures, the process is carefully managed by local herders. Farmers often can ride horses to cover large areas and keep up with the moving herd. To guide and control the yaks, they use sticks, ropes, or whips, not to harm, but to direct the animals and maintain order. Yaks typically mate during the summer months, and after a long gestation period of about 9 months, the female gives birth to a single yak, usually in spring. The newborn yak stays close to its mother, relying on her milk for nutrition and warmth. The young yak will stay by its mother's side until it is strong and healthy enough to gradually separate from the herd, starting to graze and become more independent. Yak milk plays an important role in the daily lives of people living in high-altitude regions. It's rich in fat and nutrients, making it an essential source of energy in the cold mountain climate. Locals use yak milk to produce traditional foods like butter, cheese, yogurt, and even milk tea, which are staples in their diet. To collect the milk, herders usually milk female yaks early in the morning. This is often done by hand, with care, while the animals are kept calm and still. After yak milk is collected, it goes through a traditional process to make cheese. Yak milk is thicker and richer in fat than cow's milk, which gives the cheese a dense texture and strong, slightly tangy flavor. The process begins by gently heating the fresh milk and adding natural rennet or acidic substances to help it curdle. Once the curds form, they are separated from the whey and pressed into molds to remove excess liquid. The cheese is then dried and aged, sometimes for several months, depending on the desired texture and flavor. One common product is churpi, a traditional yak cheese that comes in 2 forms, soft and hard. The hard version is especially famous for being incredibly tough and long-lasting, often chewed slowly, like candy. Yak hair is collected during the spring by combing or plucking loose strands. The coarse outer hair is used to make ropes, rugs, and tents, while the soft undercoat is spun into wool for warm clothing like scarves, sweaters, and blankets. It's a valuable material, both practical and traditional, in high-altitude communities. Yak meat is known as a staple in many high-altitude regions and can be prepared by drying, boiling, stir-frying, or grilling. So, have you ever come across this furry mountain legend? Isn't it kind of amazing?